From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
And there are more grim findings tonight about Tasmania's economy, with predictions will be the only state to see productivity decline this financial year. Labor again taking the government to task over the issue, as a leading economist calls for major reforms.
More sobering findings sounding the alarm about Tasmania's economy. Deloitte's latest business outlook is predicting the state's growth is going backwards, bringing the government's leadership into question.
Jeremy Rockcliffe's so-called strong plan is not working.
There are significant concerns about their priorities.
According to Deloitte, Tasmania is set to record a drop in productivity by more than 1% this financial year, the only jurisdiction going the wrong way, coming as the latest in a series of recent reports by credit agencies and banks outlining issues with the state's finances and economy.
And the first thing we've got to do is acknowledge there's a problem. The government has its head in the sand here.
But the business minister says Deloitte estimates have been off the mark in recent years.
And the actual economic performance of Tasmania has exceeded Deloitte's expectations.
While leading economist Saul Leslake doesn't agree with Deloitte's forecast of growth plunging into negative territory, he says the outlook is bleak, citing weak population growth among the key issues holding Tasmania back.
Which in turn results in slower economic growth, lower retail sales, fewer building approvals, fewer jobs being created.
From tax reform to improving education outcomes, Eslake says there's more the government should be doing.
Increase the proportion of our population who can get a job, increase the proportion of those jobs which are full rather than part-time, and increase the productivity of those workers.
But with all these things, we have to balance it with infrastructure, housing needs, etc.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
The state's health department is facing fresh heat tonight, with bombshell claims several wards at Launceston General Hospital don't have air conditioning. Temporary relief is on the way, but it's left questions over why it's taken so long to act on an issue plaguing the hospital for years.
Temperatures are set to soar over the next week, Launceston reaching 34 on Sunday, 36 on Monday. But the LGH is already sweltering. Some say the conditions are unbearable.
Describe them as appalling, really, and we're quite shocked.
Sally Ann Gill's father is recovering from a stroke. His ward doesn't have an air conditioning unit.
Not only is it appalling for patients, it's appalling for all the people who work there.
The new heat concerns have our health unions seeing red, claiming it's been calling out the issues for years.
It is concerning that, we've had to wait until these very high temperatures when staff and patients are at risk to actually see some action.
It is putting patients' lives at risk and it is jeopardising the health and safety of staff. It's a totally unacceptable situation and the government need to intervene now.
The government standing by its $4 million investment to upgrade the ageing system.
10 new chiller machines in that building. It is challenging and if there are temporary measures that we can roll in to help with that issue, that's what we will do.
The Department of Health says the safety and comfort of its patients is its top priority, and it will look into further measures to cool down the affected wards. They include a trial of sun-blocking blinds, which will begin shortly, while the introduction of extra air conditioning units during warm weather is under review.
Just a band-aid measure. We need the problem fixed, and what we need to know from our government is when it's going to be fixed.
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
Lake Rosebery on the state's west coast will remain off limits until mid-February as the clean-up from an oil spill continues. Around 4,000 litres of oil was flushed into the lake from an old storage tank earlier this month. Environment Protection Authority workers remain on site, confirming around 26 kilometres of shoreline has been affected. Taswater is also monitoring the water quality at the nearby Tulla treatment plant, but says so far testing is clear. Firefighters continue to battle an out-of-control blaze in Snug Tears. It's ripped through more than 400 hectares of land since Tuesday. While there's no current immediate threat to nearby residents, authorities are warning the community to remain vigilant.
and we are still trying our very best to contain the fire before the weather increases in coming days.
We do have some closures in place, like the Proverata Falls track, Snug Tears Falls track. We have those closed because that's where the fire is.
Extended campfire bans will be in place from tomorrow ahead of forecast hot weather for the region this weekend. A new garden guide is hoping to help safeguard Tasmanian homes from bushfires, providing detail on flammability levels for common garden plants in our backyards. Scientists are also using several measures to test heat, flames and combustion on sample plants.
These look like ordinary shrubs, but there's certainly more that meets the eye. Highly flammable and can be a major fuel to the fire, but researchers are using science to help safeguard our suburbs in the event of a bushfire.
So the work we're doing now is really directed at practical ways of making communities safer. We're learning a lot of things about biology.
Testing hundreds of garden plants and tree varieties under controlled conditions, measuring heat and the rate in which they burn.
Australian native plants are generally more flammable, but there are some of the non-native plants that can be very flammable.
Ferns, creepers and rainforest plants also high on the danger list, but it's hoped a new guide will help Tasmanians defend against any fires.
We need to keep going on this project over the next few decades to ensure that our gardens, our homes, our cities are ready for that new reality, which is climate change fuelled, more severe fire weather.
It's providing information about plants with the highest flammability, reminding Tasmanians about how to make their gardens more bushfire resilient.
First step is to be planting non-flammable or lower flammability plants, thinking about the actual spatial arrangement of the plants, and then also the watering of the plants.
Rebecca Gadaneris at 7 at Tasmania News.
Union bosses are backing the Greens' calls for portable long service leave to be introduced for aged care workers, contract cleaning and security officers in Tasmania. The party wants a parliamentary inquiry to look into how the scheme could be rolled out. Both the Health and United Workers unions say it's well overdue.
We have many members that have not reached the 10 years and have not been able to access their long service leave, and so we support this inquiry.
Having greater security, work security, job security is so important.
The government says the idea isn't on its agenda. A vital Northern disability support provider is streamlining its services under one roof. NOS breaking ground at its new home base in Launceston, hoping the move will help support those living with disability gain employment and access services.
It'll be a place that is welcoming and empowering for our clients, for their families and for our staff.
To work from this building is we've been on our minds for about 2 years now, and it's a good achievement that we do have our own place.
Construction is expected to be finished by July. The state government and road safety authorities have teamed up once again to launch a road safety campaign around schools as students gear up to hit the classrooms soon. Love at 40 is designed to remind motorists to slow down and stick to the 40-kilometre speed limit when driving in school zones to protect kids and parents at the school drop-off and pick-up.
Campaigns like this do help. They just reinforce the message, they remind people about doing the right thing.
It is something that we all need to be exceptionally careful about.
TV and social media ads will be run as part of the campaign to get the message out. To basketball, the Jack Jumpers will have a battle on their hands when they take on NBL ladder leaders, the Illawarra Hawks, at MyState Bank Arena tonight. The defending champs will be needing a win to hold on to hopes of finishing in the top 6. The return of Majuk Deng in his 50th game for Tasmania could prove crucial, with stars Will Magnay and Sean McDonald sidelined for the regular season. Tip-off is at 7:30. We'll have all the match highlights tomorrow. Weeks out from the Launceston International's return to its rightful home, the tennis centre's long-awaited redevelopment is now complete. The $3 million transformation includes a new clubhouse featuring a viewing deck and state-of-the-art playing facilities.
Having a wonderful facility with a range of courts here is fantastic,
but without a building to act as the community hub, that's been something that's really been lacking.
State-of-the-art tennis facilities, not only for the players but also for administration staff and officials and people watching the game.
The tournament's roster will be released early next month before play starts on February 23.
Good evening. 26 was the state's top in Launceston today. Devonport 25 degrees, 24 in Burnie, Hobart a high of 23. 21 was the top across Flinders Island and Strawn, Lowhead 23 and 17 in Lyweenie. Cloud was seen in the west of the state today, extending to most areas throughout the day. Further out, most of the mainland had clear skies today, with thunderstorms developing over northern parts of the country. Tomorrow, light showers are expected about the west, with mostly sunny conditions elsewhere. West to northwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 25 knots, reaching 15 knots in the east. Swells up to 3 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. A strong wind warning is current for the southeast coast. On to tomorrow's forecast now. Hobart and Huonville 24 degrees, 26 in Campania. In the north, Launceston sunny and 28, 24 in Devonport, sunny in Georgetown. 24 in Burnie tomorrow, a shower or two in Strawn, Wynyard 25 degrees. Sunny and 26 in St Helens, 25 in Swansea and Port Arthur reaching 23 degrees. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now. Saturday, light morning showers about the lower east, fine and sunny conditions elsewhere. Sunday, mostly sunny with a light afternoon breeze. And Monday, fine about the north with afternoon showers developing elsewhere. Capital cities, 33 and sunny in Perth tomorrow. Melbourne, 24 and cloudy, reaching 27 degrees in Sydney. And currently Hobart showers and 19, Launceston 23 and Devonport clear and 22. And it's currently looking nice and warm across the weekend, Kim. Perfect Festivale conditions for those heading along.
It will be. Let's hope there's no wind and there's no more bushfires. Thanks, Jackie. That wraps up your news for now. Thanks for joining us this Thursday. On behalf of the team, it's good night.